industry. Joining us now is Jeff Rachor, CEO of Berkshire Hathaway Automotive, the largest GM dealer in the country. Jeff, great to have you here.
Mike, Becky, it's always great to see you here at the annual meeting.
How are you navigating through all this?
Well, obviously, these are exciting times in the automotive industry, and the tariffs are certainly in the headlines every day. But I would tell you, I wish I could give you absolute clarity on exactly how tariffs are going to manifest themselves. But I can tell you what we've seen so far and the impact of tariffs in our industry so far, and that is the last couple months, a surge in sales. And that obviously is being driven by consumers that want to beat the tariffs, so to speak, because the inventories that are on our dealership lots today are obviously not burdened with tariffs. So while we don't know what the future will look like in terms of tariffs, we are enjoying a couple of months of FOMO out there as consumers rush to take advantage of these non-tariff cars in inventory.
Jeff, I'll tell you very quickly, we were just watching Tim Cook make his way into the floor of the convention center. You know, this is a little bit of star sighting here
yes,
at the
of course,
Berkshire
I
Hathaway
understand.
annual meeting. Tim Cook making his way through, and we're expecting more people
Well, it's
too.
always great to see Tim here.
Yeah, it is.
As you were just highlighting, Berkshire's still a significant shareholder.
The pull forward effect, the FOMO effect that you're talking about, how's that going to, I mean, how are you planning for that to have an impact down the road? Is it going to mean you're going to see slower sales in the back half? Or is this like a one-off FOMO that you don't think will have a big impact later?
Well, I think that this FOMO syndrome is different than what we saw during COVID. And I think that it is much more temporary and fleeting. In fact, the demand peaked already, we believe, in the month of March with a 17.8 million SAR. The SAR in April, while still above run rate, was just 17.3 million units. And we look for probably another month that's above run rate, maybe in the mid to high 16s next month. But we're already seeing some of that surge in demand moderate. And I think it is prudent to consider it pull ahead. And so what we would forecast is that we're going to see business normalize over the next few months. And then as vehicles become burdened with tariffs in the second half of the year, that it's likely there will be some offset to these strong sales that we've enjoyed the last couple of months. But we're still optimistic about the year in total. We think it'll be lumpy. But going into this year, most industry experts predicted a 16 to 16.5 million unit SAR. We were at that run rate through the first 2 months of the year. Then when tariffs were announced, again, we had that 17.8 to 17.3 last month. But I think for the full year, I would still guide to a 16 to 16.5 million SAR. Again, you may see Q2 be the peak and Q4 be the trough. And then I think as we turn the page into 26, while we don't have a crystal ball, that's likely to be the new normal, because we won't have inventories that are fully burdened by tariffs until late in the third quarter and the fourth quarter.
It's going to be tough, I guess, in that environment, though, to respond to lower. Oh, we're actually seeing Greg Abel here talking to Warren Buffett as well.
Right.
Yeah.
So it looks like they're getting ready to
actually
get their
story
stage.
Here, yeah.
Looks like Warren's making his way back to the ramp that leads up to the stage.
Yeah. Just quick, I was going to say it's going to be tough to try to get prices down or create deals, create incentives in that environment, right? You already have an affordability issue.
Well, affordability, Becky, when we talked last year, that was one of our key topics, and it remains the biggest challenge in our industry. Obviously, the inflation of vehicles over the last 4 or 5 years and higher for longer rates have driven car payments to where it is an affordability issue for many consumers. But the consumer's been resilient. And I do want to share my own perceptions, and that is that the administration, I think, is learning a lot about the unintended consequences of the originally kind of shock and awe announced tariffs. I also think that we've got very, very smart people running the OEMs and in the supply chain. And I think between some prudent compromises from the administration, coupled with some prudent measures by the manufacturers and the suppliers, that the ultimate manifestation of tariffs will be much more moderate than what has been perceived in the headlines.